if you were able to go back in time to your 20s, let's say your 21-year-old self,
Well,
21-year-old Brad Swail, I don't know, whatever, you pick the time. Or maybe this is advice for younger listeners. What would be, if you get to say one thing, what is the one thing you tell yourself?
So my question, so this is, I just want to make sure that I understand, right?
Yep.
Oh God, Charles, calm down. God. Right. Like I don't think there's anything that I would say to, like, if you gave me a time machine, said, go back in time and, give your 20-year-old self advice. I probably wouldn't do that.
Buy Bitcoin.
I wouldn't even do that. It just wouldn't happen. Right. Cause something that I wish that I knew when I was 20 would be to have kids early, have kids as soon as possible, to find a woman that you love her, grow that family early, do it early. Let the kids grow with your career. Don't grow your career first. Right.
How old were you when you had kids?
I had my first kid, I think I was 29.
Okay.
Which is relatively early by today's standards.
Wow.
Probably on the lower end of the average. But I wouldn't go back and I wouldn't use a time machine to do that, because then I wouldn't have the kids that I have today. Right. So like I'm generally a happy person. I like where my life is, but I wouldn't use a time machine to change something. But that's my answer.
Yeah, I didn't mean it in the sense of like, can you go back and change your life? I meant it in the sense of like, if there's one thing you wish you would have known then, not that it would change the trajectory of your life, or what advice would you give to younger people? Yeah,
find love and have kids. That goes for men and women today, especially. Like, stop it with this. Charles, stop supporting OnlyFans models. All right, you're ruining their lives. Right. Just encourage young men and women to find love and build that family unit. Be good dads. Be good moms.
Yeah. Charles?
I should have gone first. Now I have to go after that. That's actually really good and very thoughtful. And because I didn't expect that, because Brad was being so difficult about the question. I didn't expect it to, that to be the answer.
I was not being difficult.
If I could go back at 20, I would probably tell myself to kind of just like chill out. I would encourage myself to kind of take a step back, enjoy life, stop rushing it, forget, the late nights, the VIP, the bottle service, the, up and down the highway, the clubs, in and out of, the meatpacking district. And
Charles, come on. The meatpacking district? Is that where all the boys' parties were?
Shut up. It's an area of New York with all the clubs. I would probably tell myself to take a step back, forget dreams of MTV and all that stuff, and just enjoy being a young 20-year-old with your whole life ahead of you without having to worry about like what you're going to do or what you're going to make yourself. And, live for the nights that you can't remember with the people that you won't forget.
It sounds like that's what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did. But the thing is, I rushed through it, right? It was always like, next party, next this. It wasn't like, let's enjoy this moment.
Your advice is don't party hop.
No, my advice is to enjoy the moment, seize the day and appreciate it in the moment, so that when you look back on it fondly, it's like I didn't rush through it.
Hey, 20-year-old Charles, the bar you're at's fine, okay? You don't need to go to the bar next door. Just enjoy it.
That's funny. That's also good advice, though.
I would just and appreciate it, and make those memories so that when you look back on it, you'll have fond memories to look back on.
One of my favorite pieces of advice that somebody gave me is this older guy. He's former JP Morgan executive and now lives in Austin, Texas, and it's so simple and kind of intuitive.
Plan every second of your day.
No, he did not give me that advice, but I do that. He said every time I see him, when I leave, he says, "Go have fun. Have fun. Like, just have fun." Stop
Yeah.
stressing so much.
Sounds like you
Enjoy
and
it.
Charles are on the same page with this.
I love it. It's simple. And
You have to
it's
enjoy
true.
life.
Yeah.
You don't
Like
think
the
I
thing is,
enjoy
you
life?
get to an age when you look back and you're like, shit, like I was so worried about all these things in the moment. I didn't need to worry about it because it worked out anyway, or it wasn't the end of the world. So there was no need to spend 37 weeks worrying about it. And you just got to enjoy life. I actually asked this question to a lady. I was at a dinner party last night, and this woman, she former Exxon IT, and she, did a ton of stuff. And I was like, you're retired now. If you could tell yourself back in I didn't say 20s, but I was like during the days where like you were working 100-hour weeks, like what would you tell yourself? She's like, to meditate and exercise every day and to just make time to do things that I enjoy. And I was like, that's not-
Yeah. But I use it day to day when I have problems. I'm like, oh, just have fun solving this. It just brings a different perspective, but that's not my advice. My advice is way less thoughtful than yours. Mine was take 20% of the money you spend on partying and things that aren't necessary and invest it.
Of course, Michael's is about money and Bitcoin. The rest of us is about.
I didn't say Bitcoin, although that would be like the Back to the Future moment, when Back to the Future 2, when he goes back in time, gets the sports betting thing. If I could go back and tell myself to put my money into that, then that would have been smart. But no, I mean, financial freedom is a great asset, and stressing about money is one of the biggest drivers of depression and failed marriages and all sorts of things that are bad. So if you can, when you're young, just be diligent about putting a little bit of money, whatever you can, away into an account that you're not going to touch and that's going to grow your wealth over time. I think that's because I didn't do that I started doing that late. And I wish I would have started doing it earlier. I didn't make a lot of money in my early 20s. But I certainly wasted most of what I made.
Yeah,
so
same.
I think that's, if you can have the diligence and the diligence to do that, that's probably a pretty good piece of advice for a young person.
Well, and that's what I hate when people say money isn't everything. Money won't solve your problems. Like, is it everything? No, it's certainly not. But most people's problems would be reduced by like 30, 40, maybe 50, 60% if they had the money to pay for the things that come up in life. And most people's stress, I think, is surrounding being able to, and whether that's pay your direct bills or whether that's take your family on a nice vacation, whatever that is, could be alleviated or lessened as a burden by having the financial freedom to do so.
I think people, I'm all about money is not everything. Yeah, it's nice to not have to worry about bills, but people replace those problems with other problems. They just make more problems. People love problems for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't fucking understand it. It's it's just a really unhealthy society. It's fucking ugh.
But you get more money, more problems, but at least you can pay for
There
those
is a
problems.
song about that. Who did that? Taylor